Good morning, everyone. My name is Megan Rankle, and I want to thank you all for joining me today and listening to what me and my group have to discuss with our swap presentation. So we decided to go with the MLB and Nike deal that they are now this key sponsors for their jerseys and apparel, kind of just like their provider for things like that. SWOT means strength, weakness, opportunities, and threats. And so I'm gonna go ahead and get us started. I'm gonna be doing a little bit of some updates. Then we're gonna go into what's trending. I'm pretty excited to share with you our what's trending. It kind of goes hand in hand with our project. It's because everything that's going on with COVID-19 and the coronavirus going around, there's some skepticism on how they possibly will have a 2020 MLB season or not. So we're going to dive in a little bit of that. Then I'm going to go over the sport property as well as the key sponsor. And then we're going to go right into our SWOT analysis. So the way that we've divided it up is that my group members are going to go in order with a SWOT, and Lily's gonna start us off with the strengths. Riley will get us with the weaknesses, Taylor with the opportunities, and Courtney with the threats, and then she'll give us a little bit of a conclusion with that. So I'm pretty excited to just dive on in and show you what we have found. All right, so our what's trending here, it's basically about the MLB 3-state plan. What that means is the MLB is kind of trying to come up with ideas and decide how they're going to continue this 2020 season with everything being shut down currently. They're trying to figure out the best way for fans to be able to watch baseball, as well as for the athletes to continue playing, and it would be a big shame if they had to cancel the entire season. So that's why they're coming up with kind of some ideas like this. This isn't for sure, but they have some ideas floating around. So basically what this is about is they have 3 states that they're going to play in for the 2020 season is essentially what this means. Basically the states are going to be Arizona, Texas, and Florida. And so when I was reading the article, I found it very interesting that they were trying to pick only a couple states, kind of try to reduce travel and keep it isolated and things like that. And I was very interested on how they were going to determine what baseball fields to choose and what makes one better than the other, and how they were going to decide location decision. It's kind of based off retractable roofs. They're kind of looking at stadiums that have retractable roofs, kind of an enclosed area, just because of weather conditions. So this will allow the athletes in the games to continue if it's raining or snowing or there's some kind of bad weather outside. So I found that pretty interesting. The clubs would then make use of the local major and minor leagues for facilities and play regular season games behind closed doors without fans. Now that doesn't sound too fun, but we could still be able to watch the games probably with television. And then I found it also interesting that Texas Governor Greg Abbott tweeted that he wants to try to get all professional sports back up and running, including NASCAR, which I thought was pretty funny. And they're just really trying to do everything that they can, come up with ideas and options to continue the 2020 season while still making it safe for everyone, for the fans and for the athletes. So if y'all like this link, just let me know. We can get it out to you. Any of my group members would love to, respond to your emails. So that's our what's trending. We're gonna go ahead and get into the sport property. So the sport property, in this case, would be Major League Baseball. Basically what a sport property is a team, league, event, organization, things like that. I don't think I'll ever forget that. It should be ingrained in all of our brains. Thank you, Dr. Kirkpatrick. And so that's kind of like what the sport property is. basically what Major League Baseball is it's a professional sport league with about 30 teams that play for the MLB, but they're split up. So 15 teams play in the National League and 15 teams play in the American League. So that's kind of like how MLB works. The MLB previously used Majestic as their jersey sponsor, and they had them for a 10-year deal, but now they've recently signed with Nike as their jersey sponsor as opposed to Under Armour. So that's kind of why we chose this, because it was kind of interesting to us that they chose. So Under Armour was kind of neck and neck, but they went with Nike, and you'll learn a lot more about that later in the presentation when they go ahead and explain that to you. But I think that they were very smart to go with Nike. Nike is they're a very well-known brand. They're very top of mind to basically everyone. If you say Nike, you know what Nike is. So it's very well known. Why is the MLB valuable? So an average MLB team is worth about $1.78 billion according to Forbes. That's 8% higher than the previous years. And so I found that pretty interesting that the MLB has actually, increased their numbers. And they're kind of, I would say they're a popular sport next to football in America. Some people find it kind of boring and slow, but I find it fairly interesting. So that's kind of what MLB is, and we'll go ahead and move on to the key sponsor. So the key sponsor in this situation would be Nike. Nike is very well known for their apparel, athletic sportswear, things like that. And these jerseys that they have decided to do a deal with now have a Nike check right on the front shoulder. And that kind of strikes everyone as shocking because they've never really had anything on the front, excuse me, they've never really had anything on the front of the jersey, in MLB. And so some people are a little bit excited for that, and it kind of turns some people off because they think that it may look tacky and things like that. So what is a sponsor? A sponsorship is when a business provides funds, resources, or services to a club or an organization in return for some form of rights and association with that club. So basically right now Nike, is kind of just distributing apparel and jerseys with their brand. Nike's a well-known brand. It's popular in the apparel industry. I just, went over that. Like they make everything. They make shoes, headbands, clothing, athletic equipment. So they're pretty, they've got a pretty large, excuse me, my apologies. Nike's mission statement is to bring inspiration and innovation to every athlete in the world. If you have a body, you are an athlete. I thought their mission statement was pretty interesting because I went to their website and, they're always promoting athletes and always promoting paraplegic athletes, basically, people who've lost limbs, and they're like, it doesn't matter. If you have a body, you are an athlete. And so I really, really do like how they promote things like that. Nike's top competitors include Adidas, Asics, Puma, Under Armour, New Balance, things like those kinds of brands. Those are all popular brands as well. But Nike is just through the roof with their selling athletic equipment and things like that. People will buy Nike equipment just because of the name brand. And then why partner with MLB? So I think it's very smart of them to partner with MLB. They're already partners with, NFL, NBA. And so it kind of just makes sense that they would, somehow make their way into baseball. So I wouldn't be surprised, if they start branching out to other sports as well. So that's kind of the background starter of the sport property and key sponsor. So MLB is a sport property, Nike is the key sponsor in this, And so I'm very excited for y'all to hear what my classmates have to say. Thank you for listening and joining us today.